Content warning. This video contains flashing lights. Roll, roll, roll. That's what you'll be doing a lot of in Kuonpa. Released by T&E Soft in 1996 for the Super Famicom, Kuonpa is an action puzzle game based on the 1995 computer game Endorphin. Here's the rules. You have a cube with a different color on each side, which you can roll around on a flat plane of varying layouts. There are color panels that randomly appear on the plane, and if you match it with the top color of your cube when landing on that panel, it will turn into a lightning panel. If you hit a life panel of that color, it will create an explosion of every lightning panel of that color, and if there are other panels around it, it will create a chain reaction of clearing panels out. On each level, there is a life meter, which tells you how many life panels will be on that stage, and you must take them all out before the time limit to complete the stage. It's a little hard to completely understand at first, at least it was for me, but the game surprisingly puts a lot of effort to make sure you're eased into the experience. There's a tutorial mode that goes through the basics I just laid out, as well as some techniques about how to roll the cube in relation to its goal. To take it even further, there's a puzzle mode where one has to clear every life panel in a certain amount of moves. Through this mode, you can really fine-tune your movement strategies, since it asks you to roll as efficiently as possible and gives you the time to figure it out. But if one wants a more relaxing experience, there is an easy mode which cuts the amount of colors in half. This allows for a heavier focus on gaining a higher score, since setting up combos becomes significantly easier. Now, it might seem that the game would get repetitive if you do pretty much the same thing across over 100 levels, but the game has a surprising amount of variety within its framework. A lot of the early levels are quick if you just want to complete them and don't care about score, but if you do, it allows you to get acquainted with building bigger and bigger combos. This is in addition to getting to practice the techniques learned in the tutorial mode. Every once in a while they'll throw in a joke level, where it's immediately clear how to solve the level, and is more about appreciating the layout or how clever the design is. There are more puzzle-heavy levels where you have to be strategic about where you turn panels into lightning panels, usually to clear life panels that you can't reach by rolling. Levels like these force you to slow down and think about your rolling, something that becomes integral in the later levels. By game's end, the relaxed pace is mostly gone, where the amount of life panels are high and the time given to do it is low. The player's cube rolling skills are pushed to their limits at this point. Some are purely just layouts with only life panels, so it's merely about quickly maneuvering to the panels. Others test your ability to work around color panels to reach your life ones, and these are the hardest stages. The color panels appear fast and take over the stage, where the challenge is just as much about maneuvering through them as it is to get to the life panels. A slight variation of this kind of stage is where it is necessary to create combos to take out multiple life panels at once, since doing them one by one would be almost impossible within the time limit. These levels I ended up spending a lot of time on to complete. I almost gave up, a moment that eventually comes for me in most puzzle games I play. The challenge becomes too high, and I get discouraged to the point of quitting. But then this happened. Yeah, so this randomly occurs every once in a while, and if you don't have the manual, there's no explanation for it. So it turns out that it's the child, as it were, of the producer. Strange, but don't worry. He assures us that they're a nice guy. He then goes on to talk about how the development team had a fun time playing this game, to the point they were having competitions during work. He also gives some encouragement to those that find the game difficult, telling them to focus on the long U-shaped reversal technique, and to remember that even if you can only do that, you'll manage something. Aside from being a nice message, it makes for a game that constantly prepares you for harder challenges while being non-judgmental for failure. Through the tutorial, the difficulty modes, the puzzle mode, the extra techniques given in the manual, which I wish could have been put in the tutorial, but oh well. Kuonpa wants you to succeed, no matter where you consider success to be. Even if you can only consistently do one technique, that's just as valid as a skilled player doing high score runs. It was that message that got me through the rest of the normal mode. Granted, it took a lot of attempts in learning how to traverse each layout quickly, but when you lined everything up just right and cleared out a ton of panels, or when you finish a level at the very last second, it makes for a rewarding experience all the way through. Weird how telling me it was okay to stop is what made me want to keep going. I guess reverse psychology can work sometimes. But that wasn't the end of the game. Once you complete normal mode, you unlock the special stages, which are the hardest levels in the game. For these, I couldn't get past the first level of it even after many attempts, so that is where I actually stopped. My time with the game was done. I had gotten what I wanted out of it, so it was time to put it away. And with how Kuonpa has framed itself, I didn't feel guilty about not completing those levels. Kuonpa may want you to succeed, but not at the expense of your enjoyment. And sometimes that's the best encouragement of all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon or Ko-fi. Patreon is if you want to support me monthly, and Ko-fi is for one-time support. These videos wouldn't be possible without the generous support of my patrons and Ko-fis. Any amount helps this channel keep going. Anyways, here's my Twitter, my Instagram, my channel link if you want to subscribe, and some other videos I've made. Well, that's all I had to say, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see you around.